Hi, everyone. You're joining us in the Voice of Faith. And this weekend, there will be a special focus on overcoming depression without medication here in Hong Kong at the UCKG Help Center. You can see here on the 26th of May on a Sunday in 3 languages, including translation. All right. So this is an event open for the public, free of charge. Who can benefit from this? Either a person who is struggling with mental health challenges, emotional distress, depression, anxiety, or you know somebody in your family, a loved one, your kids, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, that they need this kind of help. You'll be able to come on their behalf for you to learn how you can overcome depression successfully without medication. Now, the QR code is ready. You can begin to scan it for more information throughout the program. You'll be able to contact us and speak to one of our counselors anonymously if necessary, non judgmental, and confidentially on the other side of the line. I want to read with you today the story of Hannah, which explains to us where depression comes from and where depression works. All right? Let's learn here together. But Hannah answered and said, "No, my Lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirits. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord." Let me give you a quick introduction of the life of Hannah. Hannah was a woman who was married, but she could not give birth to children. In the olden times, thousands of years ago, that represented failure, that represented shame, and a person could be suffering humiliation because of that. I don't want to go into the details why that is, but obviously, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, the world was a different place, and society worked in a different way. What is important for you to get is that she mentions and she speaks openly about her condition. That's a good thing, because when you don't talk about your problems, you isolate yourself. If you don't talk about mental health issues, then you need to deal with it alone. But once you talk about it, so you are able to get help. And if you speak to the right people, you get the right help. If you speak to the wrong people, you get the wrong help. But you no longer need to face your problems alone, because if there is proper help out there, you can face your problem together with a specialist. When I say specialist, a person that understands the problem, that understands how to deal with it, and that is not judgmental. Now, going back here to Hannah, she says that she had a sorrowful spirit and she poured out her soul before the Lord. What can we learn from that? Number one, spirit is related to the mind. So she was clearly saying, I'm feeling depressed, unhappy in the mind. My mind has no peace. And maybe you understand that if you're going through disappointments in life, if you suffer humiliation, traumas, your mind is not at peace. You don't sleep well. You have insomnia. In your mind, you may carry evil thoughts, harmful ideas of either hurting yourself or hurting other people, thoughts of revenge. Perhaps even you struggle with suicidal thoughts. From time to time, they pop up in your mind. That's a sign that your spirit, your mind, is not healthy, is not at rest, and you may struggle with depression. The depression is affecting your mind. Now, what happens? A lot of people, they want to suppress the depression by numbing their minds, and numbing their mind for their mind not to have any thoughts at all, which is not possible because all of us have thoughts. But there's a way to cheat the brain. There's a way to cheat the brain. There's a way for you to try to numb your brain. And one of the ways is substances. I'm talking about addictions. And she mentions that. That's interesting, that the Bible was written thousands of years ago, and it talks about people that have depression, and it also talks about treating depression, and it talks about the ins and outs of where depression comes from. We're going to get back to that later on, but first I want to read again here where Hannah says, I'm not drunk, I'm not drinking wine, I'm not drinking hard liquor. In other words, she's saying, I'm not trying to numb my brain with alcohol. I'm not trying to cheat my brain. Today, or in the olden time, there was no medication like we have today. So 1,000 years ago, you didn't have the medication you have today. Today, there's a lot of medication available to numb, suppress the depression temporarily, antidepressants. But we know that that's not a permanent solution, and you don't want to be dependent on that for the rest of your life. Now, here, as we continue, you're going to find out where her depression comes from. The root of her depression was not in the mind. Because Hannah continues speaking. She talks about the solution and she talks about the root. But have poured out my soul before the Lord. So, wait a minute. She talks about her mind not having peace. She's talking about her mind, her spirit, being sad, being depressed. So what did she do? Of course, with the guidance, the direction of the Creator, and He knows the soul inside out, she pours out the garbage, the negativity, the burdens, the traumas, the hatred, the grudges, the disappointments, the humiliation that has accumulated her soul. The soul is related to the real being. She's pouring out her soul before the Lord. What can we learn from that? Because after this, she got healed mentally, emotionally. After she did this, she was restored. She gained back her mental health, and she was in a good way, and she overcame her condition and lived a very happy, productive, successful life. Now, this teaches us that the problem in her mind had to be resolved in the soul. If you treat the soul, if you deal with the soul, you can overcome the depression in the mind. The problem is a lot of people, they don't understand how the soul works. A lot of people, they don't learn about the soul. A lot of people don't know how to treat the soul. Most of us, when we are born, we understand that we have a body. We can see our body in the mirror. And when we have body aches, body pains, problems in our health, we go to the doctor, and the doctor is specialized to treat our body. That's only normal. Then if you have headaches, if you suffer with insomnia, if you have anything related to the mind, a person can take an aspirin or Panadol. And then you deal with those headaches and you deal with those issues that are hurting the mind. But then when it comes to treating the soul, how do you deal with healing the soul, treating the soul, bringing cure to the soul? There's no aspirin for the soul. You cannot find anywhere in a shop if you need healing for your soul, so take this tablet, take this aspirin. This does not exist. When you go to the doctor cannot prescribe you anything or cannot perform a surgery to better and improve the condition of your soul. Because the soul is something highly spiritual. The body will perish one day and will be buried. The spirit, our mind, our intellect will return to the Creator one day. He gave us the intellect. He gave us godly wisdom, understanding, and knowledge for us to use this in this world. It will return to Him. If we use it wisely, we can make good decisions to have a good life. If we ignore His advice, and His advice works together with our conscience, if we reject that, then we may go down a very difficult road with a lot of pains and suffering unnecessarily. But what about the soul? The soul lives eternally and never dies. So whoever is able to maintain a healthy soul and take care of their soul and invest in the soul, they will automatically benefit in all the other areas in their life. And who knows the soul better than God? Nobody in this world knows the soul better than the Creator Himself. He knows our soul. He knows how to fix it. He knows how to repair it. He knows how to heal it. So when Hannah, when she spoke these words, I poured out my soul before the Lord, basically she put her soul with her past and all the pain and suffering and disappointments in the hands of the Creator, the Lord. And when He was able to heal her soul, immediately the sadness in the mind was gone. So you see here that in order to treat depression successfully without medication, permanently, we have to go to the soul. If you go to the soul and you fix the soul, you fix the problem permanently. If you're curious about this topic and if you need help, if you need answers for yourself or for a loved one or for your neighbor, for a family member, a colleague, scan the QR code, get in touch with us, because you don't need to face your problems alone and you don't need to suffer anymore. We're giving you here a very clear answer, an answer that exists for over thousands of years. Only a lot of people haven't found it yet, okay? So no matter your luggage, no matter what has happened in your life, you don't need to use substance like alcohol, wine, hard liquor, or even drugs to numb the pain. Numbing the pain, numbing the symptoms, the side effects is just cheating your brain. It's just a temporary solution. If you need a permanent solution, go to the Creator directly. And if you want to know more about that, just get in touch with us, okay? You can speak to somebody on the other side of the line, even right now, by scanning the QR code. Here we have the address in Kowloon, and our event will take place on Sunday, the 26th of May. You can also walk in on a Saturday. We're going to have a mini seminar, 10 a.m. in the morning. All right? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that somebody got an answer, got help. And if it's not for you, but you know somebody that could help, could get help through this message, just share the link with them. Okay? Have a wonderful weekend, all of you together with your family. And we'll be back again with a Voice of Faith on Monday. Bye bye.